Go live. Please and thank you. I think I was doing too many things too fast.
And it's got to catch up.
It's like freaking out.
Yeah.
Oh, it has been going.
Yeah, it's been going.
Cool. Thanks. So sweet. Alrighty.
Oh,
That's not it. Oh no. Where did our
footnotes go? You put them in the...
I sent it, but I never did anything. Alright, world, you get to see it, my footnotes.
Hang tight, we're having a couple of technical difficulties. There we go.
We've got some viewers.
We
We got 6 viewers. We better get into it.
So I'm telling you. Well, good evening, everyone. Sorry for the delay. Thank you for your patience while we got things worked out. I am Dr. Robin Lawrence.
I'm Dr. Sarah Ponica.
And we are Get Well Family Chiropractic. And we have so enjoyed doing these Facebook Live classes every Tuesday evening. So thank you for joining us. Tonight, we're going to talk about feet and putting your best foot forward. How to take care of your feet. You're going to walk on them probably your entire life, right? Unless, of course, maybe you're like in the circus and can walk on your hands.
Right.
If you know anyone that is having any kind of foot issues or feet problems, shoot them a quick message to have them join us before we get too far into class tonight, because it's going to be a very great class. And if you have any questions, make sure you put them down in the comments, and we'll make sure that we answer them just as quickly as possible, and or send you a message with the answer to your question. So let's get started, shall we?
Let's. All right. So let's talk about feet a little bit.
The foot. I'm going to go get the foot.
He's going to get the foot. While she's getting the foot, I'll tell you a little bit about feet. So a normal foot and ankle together have 26 bones. We had to count them to make sure.
We did.
33 joints and more than 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments. The average person will walk the equivalent of 4 times around the world.
What?
In his or her lifetime.
That's crazy.
So it's hardly surprising that nearly 3/4 of people will eventually experience some kind of a foot problem. In athletes, these problems are even more prevalent.
They are, more impact.
Mm-hmm. And so today we're going to explore some different ways that you can keep your feet and ankles happy and healthy so that you can move around freely and live the best life that you can.
Absolutely. Hey, Marlene, thank you for joining us. If you have any comments about your experience that you've had recently that you might want, as we go through, that might be helpful for people, please make sure you share that, because, we're really here to create a tribe and a community of people that can rely on one another for support in these hard times. So, all right, so let's talk a little bit about sprains and strains. So in the foot and ankle, it's extremely common, right? And can occur from something as simply as walking on an uneven surface. Common signs of a sprained ankle, most people know, right, include puffiness, redness, maybe some heat or throbbing near the area of affected ligaments and joints. So along with sprains, we might also see bruising near some of the bones, or some other types of discoloration around the skin. Now, severe ankle sprains are often accompanied by bleeding that'll turn into bruising, and that's that black or blue appearance that, most people know what a bruise looks like. Some people even report hearing a snapping or a popping along when the injury takes place. This usually happens in severe sprains, and the ligament could even completely tear in those cases. Obviously, with sprains and strains, you're going to lose functionality. You're going to have reduced range of motion in the lower body or whatever, perhaps, joint is affected. Sometimes pain, dysfunctional musculoskeletal problems actually can extend up into the ankle or the knee, even the hips, thighs, and sometimes even the low back, right? We've seen. It really makes it hard to go about normal activities. If anybody's ever sprained an ankle before, I'm sure you've realized that. And repeatedly rolling your ankles, you may notice that there's pain along the bottom of the foot or the ball of the foot. Some people even develop claw toes or hammer toes due from your form or stance. So how do you treat a sprain, right? We always use the acronym RICE, rest, ice, compression, and elevation. So you want to make sure you do that as much as possible for at least the first 48 to 72 hours after the injury occurs. So clearly, sit down, get your foot up in the air, wrap an ice pack around it, 15 or 20 minutes at a time. Take an hour off, do another 15 or 20 minutes, and just repeat that as often as you can. Wait up to 40, ignore that piece. You may also want to wrap it with like an ace bandage or an ankle brace or something along those lines, just to keep it compressed and immobile. And the compression kind of helps keep some of the swelling out, which can be part of the pain that you'll experience. Obviously, don't wrap it too tight, right? If your toes start to go numb or turn blue, you've got yourself wrapped a little too tight. And lastly, make sure it's elevated, right? We always say above the heart to help with some of that drainage of all the inflammatory processes. Some people will stack up books or pillows, things like that. More. Oh, there is. And healing's going to take several weeks, right? Even possibly several months, depending on the severity of your sprain.
All right, now on to fractures.
Which some people wish they had fractures over sprains, sometimes.
Right, yeah. So a fracture is a broken bone, as you all know. A stress fracture is a common sports injury and usually results from overuse, such as increasing the intensity of an activity too quickly. A fractured ankle can range from a simple break to several fractures that force the ankle out of place. The more bones that are broken, the more unstable the ankle is going to be and the ligaments attached to them. So when it comes to foot fractures, bones are most commonly broken. So those are going to be like these bones in your feet. Those are most commonly broken from direct blows to the foot, crush injuries, falls, or overuse, or it can be from stress too. And then typically bones take about 6 weeks to heal, but large fractures can take up to 3 years to get back to that normal function.
Yeah, so I have some funny bone fracture stories. Well, actually, not really funny, but one. So my now 19-year-old had fractured his fifth metatarsal, right, that pinky toe bone, doing something. I don't know if he rolled his ankle or whatever, and I'm like, oh, it'll be fine, walk it off. We iced it, we wrapped it. Well, I made him walk to school for like a week, and he's like, Mom, my foot still hurts. Turns out he had a fractured foot, and I made him walk to school. Right, not really funny, but, Mama year. And then the other one, I thought for sure I had a broken first metatarsal. I was in the gym several years ago and dropped a 40-pound barbell on my foot. And it took 2 ultrasounds and an MRI just to find out all I had was a bone bruise. But even to this day, in bad weather, my foot still hurts sometimes. It's ridiculous. And this was probably 5 years ago. Yeah. Not really funny, but entertaining maybe?
Yeah. Anecdotes.
Yes.
All right, arthritis. So arthritis occurs from inflammation of one or more of your joints.
Mm-hmm.
And it can cause pain and stiffness and is common in the small joints of our foot and ankle. There are several different types of arthritis, which can include the osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, and post-traumatic arthritis, and all of these can occur at any age.
Mm-hmm.
X-rays will help determine the severity of the arthritis and also if you have any joint deformities that are associated with that arthritis. And if you're living with arthritis, it will be easier to stay ahead of your pain if you are doing some of the following things. Yeah. So just learn all that you can about your specific condition, including which type of arthritis that you have and whether any of your joints are already damaged.
Yeah.
Also, enlist your doctor, friends, and family in helping you manage your pain.
Having a tribe helps. Really does.
Yep. And tell your doctor if you have any changes in that pain.
Right.
And as far as everyday routines, you'll want to pay attention to your joints, whether you're sitting, standing, or engaging in activity. Mm-hmm. Keep your joints moving.
You know, that's the biggest thing that a lot of people with arthritis don't understand. They think that they need to be sedentary because they have arthritis. Yeah, exactly. So, but really the thing to do is move.
Mm-hmm. And I think when I move my knee or whatever, it hurts, but push through it and it won't hurt as much.
Exactly.
So do daily gentle stretches that move your joints through their full range of motion and use good posture. We as chiropractors can show you how to sit, stand, and move correctly, and this can help with your arthritis.
Yeah.
And know your limits. So balance activity and rest and don't overdo it.
Right, yeah, definitely don't overdo it.
So also some lifestyle changes are going to be really important for easing the pain of your arthritis. First, you'll want to manage your weight. Being overweight can increase complications of arthritis and can contribute to that arthritis pain. Making incremental, permanent lifestyle changes resulting in gradual weight loss is often going to be the most effective method for weight management.
For sure.
And quit smoking.
Quit it.
Yeah. Smoking causes stress on our connective tissues, which can increase that arthritis pain.
Yeah.
And then exercise. So when you have arthritis, movement can actually decrease your pain and stiffness, like we were just saying.
Yeah.
And it can improve your range of motion, it strengthens your muscles, and increases your endurance. So you do want to choose the right kinds of activities here. Those are going to be the ones that build the muscles around your joint, but don't damage the joints themselves.
Right.
So a physical or occupational therapist or a chiropractor can help you develop an exercise program that's right for you and for your arthritis.
Yeah.
You'll want to focus on stretching, range of motion exercises, and gradual progressive strength training.
Yeah.
Include low impact aerobic exercise like walking, cycling, or water aerobics, water exercises. And this is going to improve your mood too.
Right?
Just to get moving, not just be sitting around all the time, and to help control your weight.
Yeah.
You do want to avoid activities that involve high impact and repetitive motion, like running, jumping, tennis, high impact aerobics, and then activities where you're repeating the same motion over and over again, like a tennis serve.
Right, just as an example, you know, and especially one of the things that I always stress to our senior patients, right? The ones that really maybe have got a lot of joint stiffness, they don't have a lot of range of motion, you know, when they start to do their exercise program, and, you know, I'm using my shoulder right now, and I get that we're talking about ankles and feet, but I'm not going to put my foot up in the air for y'all right now. So, you know, when they're doing their shoulder range of motion, if this is all they can get, right, over time, I ask them to push a little bit farther through, you know, just because, you know, I can go to here, I'm doing my exercises, doc, I'm doing my exercise. I'm like, oh, really? Great. So you were in the same exact spot last week. You should be up here a little bit farther. So let's really start to push, because even our senior patients can get more range of motion. Their muscles are just so short and so tight around that arthritis. They just gotta, like you said, Dr. Just push through it a little bit. Yeah, and just take it slow, a little bit at a time. Inflammation.
We love this topic.
We do love this topic. So, you know, inflammation can cause all sorts of issues in your body, and this includes arthritis. Luckily, there are steps that you can take to reduce inflammation in your body overall. So, let's explore one of the best ways to do so. And guess what? That's switching up your diet. And I also want to emphasize that arthritis doesn't always have to be painful, right? It's painful when it's inflamed and irritated. And it becomes inflamed and irritated when you're out of alignment, when you're out of balance. Think about, I was talking with a patient earlier today about a door, right? Say you're installing a new door, but the frame is not plumb, right? That door is not going to move through its range the right way, and it's going to rub and get irritated, and the hinges might wear out faster. So arthritis is much the same way. You can have it and it not be painful when you incorporate, what we're about to talk about in diet, along with chiropractic exercise and stretching. Now, if you're living with chronic pain, any kind of pain, right, either recovering from an injury, you really want to consider switching to an anti-inflammatory diet. Now, an anti-inflammatory diet obviously is going to emphasize fruits and it's vegetables, lean proteins, nuts, seeds, right, healthy fats, and you're going to want to totally cut out refined sugar, right? Not just cut back, but really, to be straight with you, cut it out. Refined sugar, added sugar, simple carbs like breads, pastas, pastries, right, and anything that's processed, right? Lunch meats, hot dogs, sausages, all those wonderful processed foods that we love to eat, barbecue in the summertime. Now, so I don't want to give like this huge lesson on anti-inflammatory diet, right? Because the Googler is our friend. But I do want to touch on just a few things, right? So healthy fats, omega-3 fatty acids, right? There are studies out there that just prove overwhelmingly how really good they are for us. Wild-caught fish, right? To actually eat that, not necessarily supplementation. Salmon, walnuts, grass-fed beef, flax seeds, chia seeds. They're all really excellent choices for good, healthy omega-3s. Now, one that doesn't get talked often about, but is high sulfur foods. Sulfur naturally contains a form of MSM, methyl sulfonylmethane, right? And a 2017 scientific review pointed out that this MSM actually reduces joint inflammation along with joint pain. So according to the Arthritis Foundation, MSM acts as an analgesic, right? So a pain reliever in the body by decreasing the nerve impulses that transmit pain. So what are some of those high sulfur foods? Onions, garlic, asparagus, cabbage, right? Sauerkraut, one of my favorite foods to eat. And anything that's pickled, right? Because sauerkraut is just pickled cabbage. So pickles, I guess you can really pickle anything. I've been watching some cooking shows lately, so you can really just pickle about anything you want to. So yes. And then another one that's really kind of come in vogue right now, I guess, with like all the keto and the paleo diet people, is what's called bone broth. Now, the healing power is really quite remarkable. It's loaded with collagen, right, which contains amino acids, proline, and glycine, which also helps to rebuild tissue, right? So you've got, easy for me to say, you've got damaged joints. I almost said it the other way. These two amino acids are going to help to rebuild the cartilage and the ligaments and the soft tissues that are inside those joints. So you can look up recipes on Google to make your own. You can buy it ready-made in the grocery store. I know Dearborg's has it in the freezer section. Right, fruits and vegetables, right? Last but not least, let's talk a little bit about fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables have lots of enzymes in them, and enzymes are critical. Why can't I not talk tonight? Holy cow. Critical to anti-inflammation, especially when they're packed with digestive enzymes. So two that I want to talk about is papaya, which has papain in it, and pineapple has bromelain in it. And they're both reported to reduce inflammation around rheumatoid arthritis and osteoarthritis, and it's actually documented all the way back in 1964. So this information has been around forever, and I think it's just something that people don't talk about enough, Now, foods that aggravate arthritis, right? If you're tired of being in chronic pain, these are the things you're going to want to eliminate. Excess sugar, right? We already talked about it. It just wreaks havoc on the body as a whole. Hydrogenated oils and trans fats, right? High omega-6 oils, right? They're hydrogenated oils. They're inflammatory inside the body. They're going to make you stiff and in more pain. Conventional grains, right? Anything that contains gluten or is gluten heavy, is super refined white flour. Products like bagels and rolls are your biggest offenders, and they're just going to create more inflammation in the body. I know when I went gluten-free several years ago, that was one of the first things I noticed, was that, after 20 plus years in practice, my wrists didn't hurt as much as they used to. And now anytime I cheat, because I'm human, I cheat and I eat gluten, my knees hurt, my ankles hurt, my wrists hurt. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world, and then I beat myself up for doing it, right? Artificial sweeteners. So many people are like, oh, I'm not getting in the sugar, I'm getting an artificial sweetener that has no impact, right? Well, unfortunately, it has a great impact. It's, avoid sucralose, saccharin, sorbitol. They're neurotoxins. They're inflammation makers. They have been proven to actually make you gain weight. So really, if you're going to eat a sugar. Eliminate it altogether, but don't eat the artificial sugars. Sugars. And then another one that I know has been kind of in and out, people talk about, is MSG, right? That one substance that gets added to Chinese a lot. This chemical can trigger two important pathways of chronic inflammation and affect the liver. And that is from the Arthritis Foundation. Most MSG is obviously found in fast food, prepared soups, dressing, and deli meat, so it's not just Chinese takeout. So you really want to avoid these. And if you have an autoimmune issue on top of arthritis, you really want to look at another food group within the vegetables that we, rave about, called nightshades. Nightshades are going to be your potatoes, tomatoes, peppers, green, red, yellow, chili, any kind of pepper, because they have a chemical in them that also triggers an inflammatory process in your body. So paprika, tobacco, it would be a really good Google search for you as well. And I think it's probably in one of our resources what those nightshades are as well.
All right, so now back to feet. I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of the nerve injuries that you can get in your feet. So these can occur in the foot and ankle for several different reasons. Could be stress-related, genetics, autoimmune disorders, or trauma. So there's one called a Morton's neuroma, and that is created by a thickening of the tissue around the nerves leading to the toes. And a common symptom of Morton's neuroma is persistent pain in the ball of your foot, or the feeling that you're walking on a marble.
That does not sound like fun.
No. Another one is tarsal tunnel syndrome. So this is a compression or a squeezing on the posterior tibial nerve that produces symptoms anywhere along the path of that nerve, running from the inside of the ankle into the foot. And then we have Baxter's nerve entrapment. Is going to be an entrapment of the calcaneal branch of the posterior tibial nerve, which is also called Baxter's nerve. And then the Baxter's entrapment results in plantar heel pain. So that's going to be pain on the bottom of your heel. It is usually unilateral, meaning it only happens on one foot, but it can happen on both feet.
Yeah.
And then another nerve disorder is going to be foot drop, which can happen if you have a traumatic nerve injury and you literally can't hold your foot like this.
It drops.
It's like that.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
And that's no fun. All right, so another foot disorder, right, are bunions. I know a lot of us women are familiar with bunions. Maybe we have them or someone we know has them. So they are a deformity of the metatarsal, the big long one, phalangeal joint, right, the next toe bone. And it is always at the base of the big toe. Bunions develop when that first metatarsal bone turns and causes the big toe to point inward. Now, typically, bunions are mostly found in women, although men can sometimes develop them as well, when typically it's because, the foot is squeezed into those little narrow toe boxes on our pointy shoes that we love so much. Me. Um, so while footwear can trigger bunions, they're not always the underlying cause, right? So you got to remember that there are how many movable bones in this foot, Dr. Sarah?
26.
26 movable bones. And if any one of them is off, it's going to disrupt the biomechanics of the entire foot. So sometimes they say bunions run in families. Well, if you've got the same flat feet that all your relatives have, you're more likely to get a bunion as well. Again, it's biomechanics. Some people are just more prone to bunions than others. And, I think, again, that goes back to structure. Yeah. People who spend a lot of time standing, right? These are the people that will be more prone, right? Teachers, nurses, doctors, and people who commonly wear high heels or they practice ballet, right? Ballet is so hard on your feet are more likely to develop bunions as well. I have to admit I do like my high heels. I don't wear them often, but I like them.
Well, here's what you should be wearing.
I know, right?
So when it comes to supporting ankles and feet, proper footwear plays a significant role.
Mm-hmm.
If you're suffering from arthritis, bunion pain, nerve damage, or any type of pain in your foot, look for shoes with a wide, flexible sole and enough room in the toe box, which is the part surrounding the front of the foot, to accommodate any deformities that you might have. So you'll want to avoid shoes with any type of a heel.
I know.
And if you want some height, you can opt for a low platform instead. And then shoes with a back should have a sturdy heel counter to keep the foot snugly in place. And you can protect bunions with moleskin or a gel-filled pad, which are available at drugstores. And you can also see a specialist about getting specialized inserts, which
we can do here. In fact, I wear my orthotics every single day. Yeah. There was something that popped into my head when you were talking about that, and now it's gone. Well, anyway, if whatever my thought was comes back to me, I'll put it down in the chat for y'all.
Well, I would say, I have something to say. So my... about this.
Got it.
About this slide here. I have unfortunately wide feet, and I can wear heels, but they hurt so much. And I can't wear any of the shoes that just have a strap over it. Like if I'm wearing sandals, it has to just be like a thong flip flop.
Yeah.
Because my feet are just too wide. So I could never. I was never I can just have Converse and all the narrow kinds of shoes.
I got it.
Yeah.
And now I remember what it was I was going to say. So mules, the shoes that don't have backs, I cannot wear them. I need that heel cup to hold my foot in place. Otherwise, I'm slipping and sliding all over the place. It's the most ridiculous thing. But yeah, having wide feet it's hard to find shoes that are comfortable, that support you well, that might be cute.
Right.
Especially as women, we love our cute shoes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just that.
It's my cross to bear.
It's okay. You know what? We could just develop a shoe line.
Yeah.
Right? I'm thinking we could have some creative time to develop a shoe line.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. All right. So, oh my gosh, how many of you either suffer from or know someone who suffers from plantar fasciitis, right? The word that nobody knows how to say. It's, typically the pain from plantar fasciitis is concentrated in your heel, but it'll run the entire arch of your foot. The plantar surface is the part you walk on, right? We plant our feet down on that. And sometimes even the pain is worse in the morning after you've been in bed all day and you go to put your feet on the floor and you're like, right, trying to get to the bathroom. And I have a thought on why that occurs. This condition can start in your 20s, although it's more common in people who regularly run, who are overweight, wear unsupportive shoes, whose jobs require them to stand for prolonged periods of time. I also found that diabetics tend to be more prone to plantar fasciitis. And one of the really important things is if you leave this untreated, the stress can actually cause tears in the fascia itself and then continue to progress over time. And now you've got chronic inflammation and chronic pain in the bottom of your foot. And now you can't walk or exercise or do all those good things that we were talking about earlier to help your arthritis. Now, there are, luckily, a lot of exercises that you can do to stretch out the muscles, ease the pain, reduce the inflammation, as well as chiropractic in getting adjusted. I don't know how many patients I've had over the last 24 years that never told me that they had plantar fasciitis, but I go to work on their low back, their pelvis, knees, and ankles, and all of a sudden they come in, oh, doc, I never told you, but my feet don't hurt anymore. And I'm like, right on!
Anymore?
That's right. What are you talking about anymore? Did you have something wrong? And I'm like, oh, for years I had these feet pain, that plantar fasci, whatever, right? But yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah. Cool. So let's take a look at those exercises and stretches.
Exercise time. All
Hey,
right.
Jackie, thanks for joining us.
Hi, Jackie. So we will start by talking about the arch massage. So for this, you can place a tennis ball, a golf ball, or a lacrosse ball on the floor under your foot, and you're going to apply pressure to roll out the sole of your foot.
Please start at the front.
Start seated.
There it is.
So start by doing this while you're sitting on a chair and the ball is on the floor. And then when you're able, progress to doing it while standing. And while the pain is still acute, so it's just really hurting, you can do something similar to this, which is going to be filling a plastic water bottle full of water and freezing it so you have a nice round ice pack, and you can use this to massage the sole of your foot.
Again, we call that an ice massage. And there's different stages that you're going to go through, and you want to really do your best to work through until it's numb, right? So you really just don't feel it. And that's going to give you the best, deepest anti-inflammatory action. The toes, I love the little baby toes, right? And his little bracelets.
Yes.
And kids do this all the time on their own. And I got to tell you, I did this the other night as I was, looking through some of the information that we gathered. And I'm like, this really feels really good. So I encourage you to try the toe stretch tonight. So obviously you're going to sit in your chair. You're going to place one foot over your thigh. And then start with your big toe. Just pull it towards your ankle and feel the stretch along the sole of the foot, right? Hold it for 10 seconds. Do some deep breathing while you're doing it. Repeat it 5 times and then pull all the other toes individually, right? That same process. And I gotta tell you, this was like one of the best stretches that I have done in a long time. And then you know what? Just manually massage the sole of your feet while you're doing the stretches. And it's really going to improve the flexibility in your foot. And it's also really just kind of like a form of self-love. Add some essential oils to it. Lavender or a wild orange or something, and you're just going to really get a nice little self-love there.
All right, next is a towel stretch. So for this one, you can sit on the floor or you can sit in a chair. You will place a rolled towel under the ball of your foot and hold both ends. And then you're going to straighten your knee and gently pull the towel towards you. So that's going to be stretching your foot in a similar way to that last stretch. And then just hold that stretch for 15 to 20 seconds and repeat that 3 to 5 times.
Yeah, and you know what I like about this one being a little bit different is, as you extend, like you guys can't see this, but maybe if I back up a little bit further, as you extend the knee and you pull that towel towards you, you're going to get calf and hamstring stretch. So the whole thing, we call the lower extremity a closed kinematic chain, which means whatever happens in the foot is going to hit the knee, and it's going to hit the hip and the low back, and then it's going to go right back down. So you have to interrupt the cycle in all 3 areas in order to really get relief. Oh, I kicked the desk. Yeah, I'm good. All right, so calf stretch, right, everybody? We did this in grade school. You guys know how to do the calf stretch. Face the wall, put your hands on the wall, kick one leg back, straighten that knee, bend the front knee, and just kind of lean into it and hold it, right, for 20 to 40 seconds. And repeat 2 to 4 times a day. If you have to wear high heels regularly to work, this is something that you're definitely going to do. Kick off your shoes at lunch break and, do some stretches. Maybe again at the end of the day, get in your car, maybe switch out of your high heels and into some flip-flops or something like that for the drive home. Do some stretching then too.
And here we're just taking it a step further. So this is going to help your plantar fascia.
A step further.
And
Sorry.
your calf. She's so punny.
I am.
So for this one, you're going to be on some steps.
Okay, we're good. Done.
So you'll stand with the balls of your feet on the edge of the step. And you're slowly going to let your heels down over the edge of the step and relax your calf muscles. And you'll feel a stretch through your calf and through that plantar fascia.
Mm-hmm.
So hold this for 20 to 30 seconds and then engage your calf muscles to just return back to that start position.
Yeah.
And you can do that 2 to 4 times.
Yeah, this is also a nice one if you have to wear high heels to work. If you've got a stairwell, you know, that you can just kind of run out on a little break or something, for sure. Yeah, towel scrunches. Woohoo! So this one is kind of fun too, right? You can make a little game of it. Sit in your chair, spread the towel out on the floor under your feet, and then just use your toes to pull the towel towards you. And then push it away, right? And this is going to help strengthen all those intrinsic muscles of the feet, because we said there's how many muscles in the foot? Hundreds, right? Which will eventually take some of the burden and stress off their plantar fascia, because all those little baby muscles between all the little bones are getting stronger. Yeah. You can sing a song. You can make a dance out of it.
A marble game. So for this one, you can sit in a chair. You're going to dump a cup of marbles on a towel on the floor, and then you're going to pick them up one by one with your toes and place them back into the cup. So this is also going to work those intrinsic muscles of your feet. And you can do this one when you're just sitting on the couch watching a movie.
Yeah, so, and here also you can make it entertaining. If y'all remember the Minute to Win It game show, I'm thinking this is a Minute to Win It game right here.
We used to play this when I was a kid. Like, we would, like, at our birthday parties, we had 2 baby pools, and we had a bunch of marbles in, like, a little bit of water in the baby pools, and we would take them and, like, pick them up in one baby pool and then walk to the other baby pool.
Oh my gosh! What a great game. I love that. That's awesome. Beautiful. Okay. All right. Toe raise, point, and curl. Sounds a lot like we're going to be doing some dancing.
Yeah.
I love dancing. Hey, Shelly, thanks for joining us. So to do this exercise, you're going to sit straight in your chair, right? With your feet are going to be flat on the floor. Keeping your toes on the floor, raise your heels up. Stop when only the balls of your feet remain on the ground. You're going to hold this position for 5 seconds before lowering the heels. For the second stage, you're going to raise the heel and point the toes so that only the tips of the big and second toes are touching the floor, right? So my foot and everything else is up, all right? Hold for 5 seconds before lowering. For the third stage, you're going to raise the heel, curl the toes inward so that only the tips of the toes are touching the floor. And you're going to hold this position for 5 seconds. And I'm sure YouTube probably has a really great video on this that we did not look up earlier. So again, use your Googler. This is really going to build flexibility and mobility. And you want to try and repeat this each stage 10 times. And don't be surprised that if by the second or third time you are worn out, because these little intrinsic muscles just aren't used to being used this way.
Yeah. Hot and cold. So contrast baths are a form of hot and cold immersion therapy, which is used to soothe sore muscles. And the practice is known to reduce swelling, pain, and encourage blood flow throughout the feet. So warm water is going to cause vasodilation, which is making our blood vessels bigger. And then you'll follow with cold water to produce that vasoconstriction, which is constricting our blood vessels. And alternating between both hot and cold baths pumps that stagnant fluid that might be in your feet out of the area and reduces that inflammation. So to begin this, just have a seat on the edge of your bathtub and allow warm water to flow freely over your feet for about 3 minutes. And then switch the water to a cold temperature that you can tolerate and continue to allow the water to flow. So then just cycle between those 2 temperatures 6 times.
Got it. And you know, I often recommend people do contrast therapy at home on other areas, their back, their shoulders, things like that. And I always tell them to start with heat and end with heat. So it's, you know, hot, cold, hot. So, you know, maybe scroll through this process 2 or 3 times, but start with hot and make sure you end with hot. Yeah, you'll get a better result that way. Oh, yeah, DIY massage. Now, not DIY massage is my favorite, right? Someone else massaging. However, it's a little hard to get into our massage therapists these days. So the DIY massage, like I was talking about earlier while you're doing those toe stretches, just massaging your feet is really just a great way to help relieve pain, relieve stress. It's just really a great form of self-love. So, soak your feet in some warm Epsom salt water first. Maybe add some eucalyptus or lavender essential oil to the water. Soak for at least 10 minutes, get them nice and warm. Dry off your foot and then use the ball rolling method described above to apply pressure. You can place one foot on your lap and cross over your knee and rub in any additional oils that you really like. Squeeze your foot with both hands. Use your thumb in circular motions along the sole of your feet from your heel to your toes. And this is really just, a great way to move all those tissues and all those muscles. And you can do the massage while you're flexing and extending your foot as well. And obviously repeat on the other side, right?
Yeah, and for sure. Massage up the back of your calf.
Oh my gosh, that's right. Yeah, that would be even better. Rolling pins. If you have rolling pins at work, right? Rolling pin up and down your calf. We have what I call rolling pins here in the office, but they're really, fascial movers. But works.
Elevation. So sometimes all that you really need to relieve the pressure off of your feet is just to put them up.
Okay.
Put your feet up.
I'm right there.
The moment you lift your feet, blood is going to be encouraged to flow within the veins of your legs. And maintaining an elevated position gives your feet a break for a few hours and allows blood to move freely throughout the rest of the body.
Absolutely. And of course, if any of you would like access to the resources that we use to put our class together tonight, we would be more than happy to share them with you. Just put a note in the chat or send us a message and we'll happily share those with you. And you know what? Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day, right? We absolutely love that you joined us, and getting to chat with you really helps fulfill on our mission of supporting our community and creating a tribe of healthy, well individuals and families across this community. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to put them down in the comments.
So next week, you can join us again, same time, same place.
On time.
Yeah. For our next Facebook Live class, which is going to be the leaky gut solution. So if you or anybody you know might benefit from learning about how to help out with leaky gut.
Right? And you know what? I bet you a lot of people don't even know what leaky gut is. So if you have any kind of gut issues, digestive issues of any kind, chronic pain, chronic inflammation throughout your body, it's probably caused by leaky gut. If you don't know what that means, then you definitely need to be here to join us.
So go to our Facebook event that we made for next week's class and just go ahead and click going or interested.
Yep.
And
share it.
Yeah.
Share the heck out of it.
Share the event. We would love that.
We want hundreds and hundreds of people watching us.
Yes. So our classes are also always posted after the fact on our YouTube channel, which is Dr. Robin Lawrence, in case you maybe miss a week. Or
want to go back and see some of our other 18 or 19 topics that we've covered.
Yes, absolutely. And if you think you or anyone you might know might be interested in chiropractic care or a healthier, more holistic lifestyle, go ahead and give us a call up to the office at Get Well Family Chiropractic, and you can schedule a consultation or a new patient appointment.
Yeah, there's no charge for a consultation. We'll sit down and talk for 10-15 minutes, see if this is the right place for you, if we have any solutions that might be able to help you. And then moving forward from there, we can talk about what it looks like to be a new patient here in the office. Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you next week.
See you next
Have a good one.